Getting killed, meeting the divine power of reincarnation, getting teleported to a magical world. This formula never gets boring, does it? But don't get any inspiration from these folks. Just because you jump in front of a big white truck doesn't mean you're getting reincarnated as an overpowered main character. So the best way to fantasize it is to experience stories of the ones who made it to a fantasy world. Without further wait, here are 10 anime where the main character gets reincarnated in another world.
I can't die now!
Isekai and animals never seem to get old as a combination. We've got plenty of creatures to speak about, so how about we start with a Dachshund dog? Yep, you heard that right. The main character in this show gets reincarnated as a dog after trying to save a girl from an accident. But fret not, because he's not alone. Turns out the woman he was trying to save is in this world as well. And rather than being another cute anime girl, she turns out to be a sadistic woman carrying a pair of scissors.
So, is there anything you need me to get for you?
What?
The odds are against our reincarnated main character, and if not obvious, being a dog means no one is going to take you seriously. After all, the only thing you can do is bark.
Full-powered thundering gale!
When we think of isekai, we think of fantasy worlds with knights and heroes. But adding some mecha and tech to the mix doesn't ruin the experience, right? Knights and Magic is proof of that. It happens when a software engineer and hardcore mecha otaku from our world is transported to a fantasy world where warriors use mecha robots known as silhouette knights to fight off powerful beasts. This software engineer is born as Eru Echevelia, and soon realizes that the world of magic is related to the programming of our world. This allows him to excel in certain areas of magic as well as become a great mecha pilot. If you need a combination of mecha elements with fantasy elements, then this is the show for you. Trust me, this show starts off as something serious. A guy getting killed and then summoned by a goddess. But that's where the bizarreness hits in. Turns out our main character Kazuma gets to be in one of the most dangerous fantasy worlds, but with the weirdest party he could have. First you have Aqua, a useless goddess who only makes matters worse. And then you have Megumin, a character with great potential, but only practices one type of magic. Finally, there is the Noble Knight's Darkness, and noble is the last word you can apply for this pervert. Konosuba isn't anything serious, but that alone is why you should watch this show. Expect some hilarious comedy, as well as awkward and funny moments as well. This is the story about the strongest grandchild to land in a fantasy world. After Shin died in the present world, he was reincarnated as Shin Wolford in another fantasy world. Shin is the grandson of Merlin Wolford, who is one of the strongest magic users in the world, and obviously his strength was passed onto his grandson. Shin's power lies in using his knowledge of the past to make him stronger, and a funny thing that is emphasized in the anime is that their Shin doesn't know his own boundaries of power, so he ends up overdoing it. Needless to say, this anime combines the overpowered main character trope with its isekai elements to deliver an action anime that can make your jaw drop, because of the main character, of course. Turns out Shin isn't the only one who got reincarnated as a son of a noble. Here we have Shingo Ichinomiya, who, after a stressful work life, finds himself in the body of a noble boy named Wendelin von Benno Baumeister. He is now the 8th son of a minor noble family, and with the economic status of the family, he needs to rise ranks and climb the power hierarchy. And turns out his aptitude in magic might just be the thing he needs. Unlike many isekai protagonists who become overpowered, our main character Shingo here needs to learn how to use his power wisely and has to develop himself through his experience. Character development? Sure, you get plenty of that in this one.
あんなにかっこよくて男らしかったのに、かっこ自称かっこ閉じ、今ではこんなに優先的な洗練されたスタイルに。ってアホか、認められるか。
After watching this anime, you'll never underestimate slimes again. If it wasn't obvious from the title, it's about Satoru Mikami, an average salaryman who is reincarnated in another world as a slime named Rimura Tempest. He's bestowed divine protection by the dragon, and he soon heads off on his own adventure. You heard that right, this is a zero to hero story, but with some extra backup in this case. One thing this anime excels in is using Rimuru's powers creatively. Instead of snapping fingers, blasting off things, and showing he's overpowered, Rimuru has to overcome each obstacle individually by creatively thinking. This also has that kingdom building political feel to it, so if you're a fan of that, you won't be disappointed with this one. I know you've heard about isekai anti-heroes, but what do you call an evil little girl who goes around mass murdering soldiers while having a grin on her face the entire time? After an average Japanese salaryman is killed, a mysterious entity known as the Being X transports him to a war-torn world and turns him into a girl named Tanya.
我が祖国の敵を打ち滅ぼす力を与えたまえ。
Tanya has an increased hatred towards Being X, whom she refers to as God, and to survive in the world and take her revenge, she decides to enroll in the military academy and rise to the top. Tanya may look like a little girl from the outside, but give her the flight tech and a rifle, and the next thing you know, Hitler is begging to hire this girl for his world war.
スプラッシュフロー。
This was popularized as one of the best isekai anime out there, and I can clearly see why. After watching the first 3 episodes of the anime, I can already see a clear narrative structure as well as a world that we can slowly experience. When a 34-year-old man is met with an accident while trying to rescue another person, he is teleported to a fantasy world known as Rudius Grey Rat. Now, as a child, Rudius possesses incredible magical skills plus genius-level intellect. His parents are surprised about him, and this boy begins learning the best sword and sorcery in the world as well. Apart from the usual isekai fare, you get a story with great characters and a well-built magic system, so don't miss out on this one.
だけど、とにかくここから出ないと。自由だ。
Remember how I told you isekai and animals never get old? As the title implies, this time our lucky main character gets reincarnated as a spider. Is being a spider a good thing? Not in this world. Here you have large predators to unknown monsters ready to devour you, and with your chances being low, even as a human, being a spider means you have an extra challenge. Similar to slime isekai, this anime knows how to show the main character overcoming obstacles creatively, and thinking strategically to suit the moment. Don't underestimate this anime's value simply because the main character is a spider, because there are some surprises coming your way.
The light for you, monsters!
This anime is solely good because of its protagonist. Once again, anime has proven that you should never underestimate anime main characters. Yoma Takebayashi is a lonely man who led a life filled with hardships until he died from an unfortunate accident and got reincarnated in a fantasy world as a child. Here he makes use of his innate knowledge and abilities combined with the blessings he received from 3 goddesses to lead a new life and start a new adventure.
Energy flowing out of your body.
by the grace of the gods, has some aspiring adventure that can keep you hooked, as well as an overpowered main character that solves problems with his mind and his fists. So there goes our picks for the top 10 best isekai anime of all time. There are plenty of picks for isekai anime, but the good ones are the shows that use the same tropes and put a rather creative spin on them. More content like this is coming in the future, so stay tuned, and that said, I'll see you all in the next video.